You know, every single one of us is fighting a battle every day, not a battle with someone else, not a battle with the world outside, but a battle inside. That silent battle that nobody sees, the battle of doubt, the battle of fear, the battle of wondering if you're enough, if you're capable, if you even deserve the life you dream of. And today I'm here to tell you that battle is real, but so is the power inside you to overcome it. Every one of us, whether we admit it or not, has an inner voice that questions us. That voice sits quietly, almost whispering, sometimes screaming, and it tells us that we're not enough, but we can't do what we dream of doing, that our goals are too big, our circumstances are too limited, and that maybe we should just settle for what is comfortable, what is safe, what is familiar. That voice is what I want to talk about today. That voice is what I call doubt. And the first step in overcoming your inner doubt is to recognize it. You cannot defeat what you do not acknowledge. You cannot take control over something that you refuse to see. Too many people are walking around blind to the voice inside them that is keeping them from becoming the person they are capable of being. They blame the world. They blame luck. They blame other people. They blame circumstances. But the truth is, the real battle begins inside. And the first step to winning that battle is to recognize the enemy. Not outside, not in someone else, not in some external challenge, but the enemy that sits quietly in your own mind. Recognizing your doubt begins with awareness. You have to start paying attention to your thoughts. Most people go through life on autopilot. They wake up, go to work, deal with obligations, scroll through social media, and never stop to notice the inner commentary running in their minds. That commentary is powerful. It shapes your choices, your actions, and ultimately, the life you end up living. The quiet, persistent voice that says, I'm not good enough, I don't have what it takes, or God, I'll do this, is the voice that will keep you small unless you bring it into the light. You have to see it for what it is. You have to call it out. You have to say, I see you, doubt. I know what you're doing, and I'm not going to let you control me anymore. The challenge with doubt is that it doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it comes dressed in the form of fear, worry, or hesitation. Sometimes it appears as procrastination. You might say, I'll start tomorrow, or and maybe this isn't the right time. When really what is happening is that doubt is creeping in and telling you that you're not ready, that you're not capable, that you should hold back. Recognizing doubt requires honesty. It requires a willingness to look at your excuses, your delays, and your fears and see them for what they are. Not truth, but doubt in disguise. You have to become a detective of your own mind, observing the patterns of hesitation, the thoughts that pull you back, the questions that make you second guess yourself. Recognizing doubt is the first step to dismantling it, because once you see it, you can start to respond to it instead of being controlled by it. Here's the truth. Everyone experiences doubt. Every successful person you admire has faced it. Every person who has accomplished something great has stood at the edge of fear and insecurity and questioned whether they could take the next step. What separates those who succeed from those who do not is not that they never doubted. It's that they recognized it, confronted it, and refused to let it define them. When you recognize your doubt, you take the first step in reclaiming your power. You move from being a passive participant in your own life to being the author of your story. You begin to understand that doubt is not a stop sign. It is a signal. It is a warning that growth is coming. It is an indicator that what lies ahead is significant enough to challenge you. Recognizing doubt is not about eliminating it immediately. It's about seeing it clearly, understanding its presence, and choosing to act despite it. Recognizing your doubt also requires courage. It takes courage to admit that you are struggling, that you feel uncertain, that you don't always believe in yourself. Many people avoid recognition because they are afraid of what they might find. They fear that admitting their doubt will make it stronger, or that will expose their vulnerabilities. But the opposite is true. When you recognize doubt, it loses its power. When you name it, when you shine a light on it, you begin to take control. You begin to understand it is just a thought, just a feeling, not an unchangeable reality. You begin to separate yourself from the doubt, realizing that you are not your fear, you are not your insecurities, and you are not your hesitation. Recognizing doubt allows you to see it objectively And from that place of objectivity, you can begin to act intentionally, strategically, and courageously. Think about it this way. If you are in a dark room and you do not recognize the darkness, you will stumble blindly. You will hit walls, fall over obstacles, and waste energy trying to find your way. But the moment you recognize the darkness, the moment you understand that it is simply a lack of light and not an insurmountable force, you can reach for a flashlight. You can illuminate your path. You can see the way forward. Recognizing doubt is like turning a light in your mind. It allows you to see clearly, to understand what is holding you back, and to plan your next step with intention. Another important aspect of recognizing doubt is understanding that it is normal. It does not make you weak. It does not make you incapable. And it does not mean that you are destined to fail. Doubt is part of the human experience. It shows up when you are about to grow, when you are about to take risks, when you are about to push beyond your comfort zone. Recognizing doubt is not about eliminating it entirely. It is about accepting its presence, acknowledging its influence, and choosing to move forward anyway. Every great leader, every great entrepreneur, every great athlete has had to recognize their doubts and then make a conscious decision to act in spite of them. The recognition itself is empowering because it reminds you that you are aware, that you are conscious, and that you have the ability to respond, not just react. Recognition also allows you to distinguish between real limitations and imagined ones. Sometimes we let our doubt convince us that we are incapable when in reality, the only limits that exist are the ones we accept. By recognizing doubt, you can start asking the tough question. Is this doubt based on reality or is it based on fear? Am I believing someone else's opinion instead of my own truth? Recognition gives you clarity. It allows you to separate fact from fiction, truth from illusion, and empowers you to make choices that align with your potential rather than your fear. One practical way to recognize doubt is to start journaling your thoughts. Write down the negative, questioning, or fearful statements that come into your mind. See them on paper. Look at them honestly. Once you see them outside of your head, they begin to lose their grip. You can analyze them, challenge them, and respond to them. Recognition transforms doubt from an invisible, creeping force into something tangible, something you can confront and manage. Another technique is to pause before reacting to fear-based thoughts. When doubt arises, don't push it away immediately. Instead, observe it. Ask yourself, what is this doubt telling me? Or where is it coming from? Is it rooted in truth or is it just fear? By giving doubt your attention, you disarm it and reclaim your power. Recognition also strengthens your resilience. When you know doubt will show up, you are prepared for it. You develop mental and emotional muscles that allow you to face uncertainty without collapsing under it. You understand that doubt is a companion on the journey, not a barrier that must stop you. Every time you recognize doubt and move forward anyway, you build confidence, courage, and momentum. Recognition becomes a habit. Awareness becomes your superpower. And before long, you start to notice that doubt doesn't have the same grip it once did. You start to live with more intentionality, more focus, and more purpose. And here's the most important part. Recognizing doubt is not a one-time act. It's a lifelong practice. Doubt will show up again and again in different forms at different times. Life will challenge you. Opportunities will stretch you. Mistakes will remind you of your vulnerabilities. But if you have trained yourself to recognize doubt, you will never be caught off guard. You will meet it with awareness, with honesty, and with courage. You will see it, acknowledge it, and say, thank you for showing up, but I'm not letting you stop me. Recognition is the first victory in every battle with inner doubt because it shifts the dynamic from being controlled by fear, taking control of your mind and your life. Ultimately, recognizing doubt is about reclaiming your story. It's about refusing to let the quiet voice inside dictate your limits. It's about seeing your potential clearly, seeing your challenges honestly, and deciding that your future is bigger than your fear. Recognition is the moment you say to yourself, I know what you're doing, doubt. I see you, but you will not define me. You will not control me. I am capable. I am worthy. I am ready. And once you recognize it, once you confront it, everything changes. You start to act differently. You start to make decisions differently. You start to live differently. Recognition is the spark that ignites transformation. Recognition is the foundation upon which courage, confidence, and true self-expression are built. So today, I challenge you. Listen to yourself. Pay attention to the voice inside your head. Notice when it questions you, when it hesitates, when it says, you can. Recognize it for what it is. Doubt. Fact, not prophecy. Doubt. And then take the next step. Move anyway. Act anyway. Show up anyway. Recognition is your power. Recognition is your first victory. Recognition is the doorway to unleashing the greatness that has always been inside of you. Because here's the ultimate truth. The moment you recognize your doubt, you begin to take back your life. You begin to write your own story. You begin to define your own limits. You begin to step into the person you were meant to be. Every achievement, every breakthrough, every success starts here with recognition, with awareness, with the courage to look your doubts in the eye and say, I see you. I will not let you stop me. And that, my friends, is how transformation begins. That is how you move from hesitation to action, from fear to courage, from doubt to unstoppable confidence. It all begins the moment you recognize your doubt. That is the silent, powerful, life-changing first step toward unleashing your true self. So see it, name it, own it, and then rise above it. Because your greatness is waiting on the other side of recognition, and the only way to reach it is to face what's inside and say, not today, doubt. Not today. Every one of us has moments when we doubt ourselves. Those quiet, persistent whispers in our minds that tell us we're not enough, we're not ready, or that the path ahead is too difficult. But here's the thing, doubt doesn't just appear out of thin air. It has a history, it has a source, it has roots. And if you want to overcome your doubt and step into your true self, you must first understand where it comes from. Understanding the roots of your doubt is the bridge between feeling stuck and taking control of your life. Because until you understand the origin of the inner voice that tells you, you can't, you will continue to respond to it instead of mastering it. Doubt is often born from fear. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in human life. And when it is left unchecked, it can quietly grow into a deep sense of uncertainty about yourself and your capabilities. Fear whispers, oh, what if people laugh at you? Or what if you're not good enough? And the problem is, many of us never take the time to examine these fears. We just accept them as true. But here's the key. Fear is not reality. It is perception. It is a signal. It is a warning that growth is on the other side. And if you never explore the fear, if you never dig into it, it solidifies in the doubt that begins to control your decisions, your actions, and your potential. Understanding the roots of your doubt means asking yourself, what am I truly afraid of? And then confronting it head on. Another major root of doubt comes from past failures. Everyone has stumbled, everyone has made mistakes, and everyone has had moments when they wish they had done things differently. But too often, instead of learning from those experiences, we internalize them, we let them define us. We replay them in our minds, saying, I failed once, so I'll fail again. I couldn't do it then, so I can't do it now. These experiences leave scars, and those scars become the soil in which doubt grows. But here's the truth. Your past is not a prophecy. Your past is not your final verdict. It is a lesson. It is a teacher. Understanding the roots of your doubt means looking back at your failures, not as evidence that you are incapable, but as stepping stones that are shaping your strength, resilience, and wisdom. Once you understand that, doubt loses its power because you realize that it's not a reflection of your potential, it is a reflection of your learning process. Comparison is another root that feeds doubt. In today's world, it is easier than ever to measure your life against others. Social media, peers, colleagues, and even family members can become unintentional sources of self-doubt. You see someone else's success and immediately question your own worth. Or why didn't I achieve that? Or why am I not as far along? Or why am I struggling while they are thriving? Comparison is dangerous because it distracts you from your journey and makes you believe that your worth is tied to someone else's achievements. Understanding the roots of doubt requires breaking free from this trap. You have to remind yourself that your path is yours alone, that your journey has unique obstacles and opportunities, and that comparing your beginning to someone else's middle will only strengthen your doubts. Once you recognize this, you begin to reclaim your focus and your confidence. Expectations are another root of doubt that's often overlooked. Sometimes the doubt we feel doesn't even come from ourselves. It comes from the people around us. Parents, teachers, mentors, friends, and society at large often have expectations about who we should be, what we should achieve, and how we should behave. And when we don't meet those expectations, doubt creeps in. I'm not good enough to their standard. Oh, can't make them proud. Understanding the roots of doubt means examining whose voice you are listening to and asking yourself if those expectations are yours or someone else's. The moment you recognize that some of the doubt you feel is imposed from the outside, you gain freedom. You begin to see that you have the power to define your own standards, your own worth, and your own path. Another root of doubt comes from self-limiting beliefs. These are the stories we tell ourselves about what we can or cannot do. I'm not smart enough. I have another talent. I'm too old, too young, too inexperienced. These beliefs become like chains, holding us back from exploring our full potential. The dangerous thing is that we often don't question these beliefs. They feel real, they feel justified. But here's the truth. Beliefs are only powerful if you accept them without question. Understanding the roots of doubt means identifying these limiting beliefs and challenging them. Ask yourself, is this really true, or is this just a story I've been telling myself? The moment you question a self-limiting belief, you weaken doubt and strengthen possibility. Sometimes doubt is rooted in lack of preparation or knowledge. When you don't feel equipped for a task or a challenge, doubt will naturally arise. You'll wonder if you can handle it, if you have what it takes, if you're ready. And here's the thing, lack of preparation can be solved, and doubt born from it can be addressed through action. Recognizing this root of doubt means taking responsibility for your growth. It means committing to learning, practicing, and preparing so that when the challenge comes, you are ready. Knowledge, skills, and preparation are antidotes to doubt. The more you invest in yourself, the less space doubt has to thrive. Emotional wounds also contribute to the roots of doubt. Past criticism, rejection, or disappointment can leave deep marks on your self-esteem. Words that were spoken to you or situations that made you feel small or unworthy have a way of echoing in your mind long after the moment has passed. If you've carried this emotional baggage without addressing it, it becomes fertile ground for doubt to grow. Understanding the roots of doubt means acknowledging these wounds, processing them, and choosing to release their grip on your present. You cannot eliminate all the scars of the past, but you can decide whether you will allow them to define your future. Recognizing the roots of doubt also requires self-reflection. You must be willing to sit quietly with yourself, examine your thoughts, and question why certain doubts arise. Journaling, meditating, or even having honest conversations with a trusted mentor can help illuminate the sources of doubt. When you bring the roots into the light, they become manageable. When you see the origin, you can respond with intention instead of reacting with fear or hesitation. Recognition and understanding go hand in hand. They are the first step toward dismantling doubt. Here's something crucial. Understanding the roots of doubt is not about blaming anyone or anything. It's not about saying it's my parents' fault, or it's my parents' fault, or it's my past fault, or it's society's fault. It's about taking ownership of your life and your mind. When you understand the roots, you gain clarity and power. You realize that while doubt may have been planted by fear, comparison, expectation, limiting beliefs, lack of preparation, or emotional wounds, you are the one who has the power to uproot it. You are the gardener of your mind, and you get to decide what to nurture and what to remove. Once you understand the roots of your doubt, a shift happens. You stop seeing doubt as an abstract, uncontrollable force. You begin to see it as a signal, a teacher, a guide. It tells you where growth is needed, where preparation is required, where healing must take place. Instead of fear and doubt, you begin to study it. You begin to learn from it. You begin to use it as a tool to strengthen yourself, not as a chain to hold you back. Understanding the roots transforms doubt from an enemy into a challenge that you are equipped to face. And here's the ultimate truth. Your roots do not define your destiny. Yes, doubt has roots, and yes, it has been nurtured by fear, failure, comparison, expectation, limiting beliefs, lack of preparation, and emotional wounds. But you are not defined by those roots. You are defined by the action you take, by the courage you summon, by the persistence you show. Understanding the roots of doubt allows you to see the soil, the ground from which doubt grows, and then choose what seeds you want to plant moving forward. You can plant seeds of confidence, seeds of preparation, seeds of courage, and seeds of relentless belief in yourself. Every person who has achieved greatness has had to understand the roots of their doubt. They have had to look deep, examine their fear, reflect on their past, and recognize the stories they've been telling themselves. Only after understanding could they act. Only after understanding could they move past hesitation. Only after understanding could they step into their true selves. And here's the challenge I give to you today. If you want to unleash your true self, if you want to achieve your potential, if you want to live without the silent, invisible chains of doubt holding you back, must take the time to understand the roots of your doubt. Take the time to reflect. Take the time to analyze. Take the time to journal. Ask yourself, where is this doubt coming from? What past experiences, comparisons, expectations, limiting beliefs, or emotional wounds are feeding it? Don't rush this process. Don't try to skip it. Understanding takes time. Understanding takes honesty. Understanding takes courage. But the reward is immeasurable. Once you understand, you can respond. Once you understand, you can act. Once you understand, you can move forward with clarity, power, and conviction. Because here's the bottom line. Doubt only has power if you let it. It only grows if you allow its roots to remain hidden and unexamined. The moment you understand where it comes from, the moment you bring those roots into the light, doubt loses its grip. The moment you see the soil, you can pull out the weeds, plant new seeds, and cultivate the life you were meant to live. Understanding the roots is not just a step. It is the foundation for freedom, for courage, for success, and for unleashing the true self that has always been inside you, waiting for you to recognize it, nurture it, and let it grow. So today I challenge you, don't just push doubt aside. Don't just try to ignore it. Don't just hope it will disappear. Go deeper. Look at the roots. Ask the hard questions. Reflect on your past. Examine your fears. Identify your limiting beliefs. Understand the expectations weighing on you. Recognize the comparisons holding you back. Look at the wounds you've been carrying. And then, armed with this understanding, take the next step. Act with intention. Move with courage. Speak with confidence. Prepare relentlessly. And rise above the doubt that has been whispering in your mind for far too long. Because the truth is, once you understand the roots of your doubt, once you see clearly where it came from, you can finally reclaim your power. You can finally stop letting fear, failure, comparison, expectations, self-limiting beliefs, lack of preparation, or emotional wounds dictate your life. You can finally step into the fullness of who you are meant to be. You can finally unleash your true self. And that, my friends, is where greatness begins. Every single person on this planet has a mind that talks to them constantly. A mind that whispers doubts, fears, and insecurity. A mind that reminds you of your past failures, magnifies your limitations, and convinces you that the path you're on is too difficult, too dangerous, or too uncertain. And the problem is, most people let their thoughts run unchecked. They believe every negative thought, every self-limiting idea, every internal criticism, and they let it dictate their lives. But here's the truth. Thoughts are not facts. Thoughts are not reality. Thoughts are signals, ideas, and sometimes lies that we choose to believe. The moment you understand that, the moment you decide to challenge your thoughts, you take the first step toward breaking free from doubt and unlocking your true potential. Deciding to challenge your thoughts requires awareness. You cannot challenge what you do not notice. Too many people live on autopilot, letting their minds generate fear, hesitation, and doubt without ever questioning. They wake up, get ready for the day, and let the same internal voice tell them, you can't do it, you're not ready, you're not enough. And because they never question these thoughts, the thoughts become truth. They become reality. They become the reason why dreams are delayed, goals are abandoned, and potential is wasted. Challenging your thoughts begins with noticing them. Pay attention to the thoughts that rise when you face obstacles. Observe the self-talk that shows up when you are pushed outside of your comfort zone. Awareness is the first step toward transformation. Once you have awareness, the next step is to question the validity of your thoughts. Ask yourself, is this really true? Or is this just a story I've been telling myself? The human mind is powerful, but it is also prone to exaggeration and distortion. Your brain can take a minor setback and turn it into proof that you will fail at everything. It can take a single criticism and convince you that you are worthless. It can take a temporary struggle and convince you that your entire life is a failure. Challenging your thoughts means refusing to accept these automatic interpretations as fact. It means asking, is this thought based on evidence or is it based on fear? Is this a reflection of reality or is it a reflection of my anxiety? When you ask these questions, you take control. You stop being a passive participant in your own mental life and you start being an active, conscious, intentional thinker. Challenging your thoughts also means confronting your inner critic, that inner voice that says, you're not capable, you're not smart enough, you're not ready. Most people listen to this voice and believe it, but it is not the voice of truth. It is the voice of doubt and fear. Every successful person you admire has faced this. Every leader, every entrepreneur, every athlete, every person who achieved greatness has stared into the mirror of self-doubt and said, I will not let you control me. The act of challenging your thoughts is powerful because it separates you from your inner critic. It allows you to recognize that these thoughts are not commands. They are opinions, and you do not have to obey them. Another critical aspect of challenging your thoughts is recognizing the difference between constructive reflection and destructive rumination. Constructive reflection is when you evaluate your thoughts and actions to learn, grow, and improve. Destructive rumination is when you replay negative thoughts over and over, reinforcing doubt and fear. Deciding to challenge your thoughts means refusing to dwell on the negatives, refusing to replay the what-ifs and the could-have-beens, and instead asking, what can I do now? How can I take action? How can I respond in a way that moves me forward? Your thoughts are not the enemy. Inaction is. Challenging your thoughts transforms worry into strategy, fear into motivation, and doubt into action. Challenging your thoughts also requires courage. It is easier to believe the negative voice. It is easier to say, I can't, than to step up and take action despite it. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting despite fear. Every time you challenge your thoughts, you exercise courage. Every time you question the validity of doubt, you strengthen your mental muscles. Every time you refuse to let fear dictate your actions, you reinforce your confidence and resilience. Then the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. You start to automatically recognize negative thoughts and challenge them before they can take root. A practical way to challenge your thoughts is to ask yourself 3 questions every time doubt arises. First, ask, is this thought true? Look for evidence. Is there proof that this thought reflects reality or is it an assumption? Second, ask, is this thought helpful? Even if it's true, does believing it move me forward or does it hold me back? What action can I take to respond to this thought? This third question transforms thought into action. It shifts the focus from fear and hesitation to strategy and movement. By consistently practicing this mental exercise, you train your mind to be a tool, not a tyrant. Challenging your thoughts also involves reframing. Reframing is the practice of looking at a situation from a different perspective. For example, instead of thinking, I failed, so I'm a failure, reframe it as, I failed, but I learned what doesn't work. Now I'm closer to success. Instead of thinking, I'm not ready, you reframe it as, I'm growing and developing. I'm gaining the skills I need each day. Reframing is a powerful tool because it interrupts the negative narrative and replaces it with a constructive one. Your thoughts are not your reality. They are a lens through which you view reality, and you have the power to change that lens. It is also important to understand that challenging your thoughts is not a one-time event. Your mind will continue to generate doubt and fear. Old patterns of thinking will resurface. That's why this is a daily practice, a lifelong discipline. Every morning before you face the world, remind yourself that you are in control of your thoughts. Every time a negative thought arises, pause, question, and reframe it. Every time fear whispers in your ear, challenge it with evidence of your strength, your preparation, and your ability to overcome. Over time, this practice rewires your mind, builds mental resilience, and strengthens your confidence. One of the most powerful ways to challenge your thoughts is through affirmations. Affirmations are deliberate, positive statements that counter negative thinking. Every time doubt tells you I can't, Respond with, I am capable. I am strong. I'm ready. Every time fear says, it's too hard, respond with, I will overcome. I will persist. I will rise. Words shape thoughts and thoughts shape action. When you challenge your thoughts consistently with affirmations, you create a mental environment where possibility thrives and doubt shrinks. Challenging your thoughts is also about taking ownership. Too many people allow external circumstances to dictate their internal state. They believe that if the world is tough, their mind should be too. But here's the truth. You are in charge of your mind. You are in charge of the thoughts you allow to influence your actions. When you decide to challenge your thoughts, you reclaim control over your life. You stop blaming the world, blaming other people, or blaming circumstances for your hesitation or inaction. You recognize that the power to move forward, to take risks, and to achieve your goals lies within you. Another key aspect of challenging your thoughts is surrounding yourself with positive influence. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, and the conversations you engage in all shape your mental environment. When doubt arises, it is easier to challenge it if you are supported by people who lift you up, inspire you, and remind you of your strength. Conversely, negative influence can reinforce doubt, magnify fear, and drain your energy. Part of deciding to challenge your thoughts is curating your mental and social environment to reinforce courage, confidence, and resilience. Challenging your thoughts is ultimately about choice. You get to decide what you believe, how you interpret your experiences, and how you respond to fear and uncertainty. You get to decide whether your doubt will control you or whether you will control it. You get to decide whether your mind will be a prison or a launching pad. Every moment of hesitation, every second of self-doubt presents an opportunity to challenge your thoughts and reclaim your power. The choice is yours. And the more consistently you make the choice to challenge your thoughts, the more natural it becomes and the more unstoppable you become. And here's the ultimate truth. Thoughts do not define your destiny. Your actions, though, are preceded by your thoughts. That means if your thoughts are negative, fearful or doubtful, your actions will be limited. If your thoughts are challenged, constructive, and empowering, your actions will reflect your potential. Deciding to challenge your thoughts is not just a mental exercise. It is the foundation for bold action, relentless pursuit, and extraordinary achievement. So today I challenge you. Pay attention to your mind. Notice the negative thoughts, identify the doubts, question the fears, and then challenge them. And then challenge them. Ask yourself, is this really true? Is this helpful? Or what can I do to move forward? Reframe your thinking. Speak words of life to yourself. Take ownership of your mind. Surround yourself with positivity and make the choice to challenge every thought that does not serve your growth. Because the moment you do, the moment you decide to challenge your thoughts consistently, you unlock a power within you that doubt can never touch. You awaken a version of yourself that is courageous, resilient, unstoppable, and fully alive. Because here's the truth. Your mind is the battlefield, and your thoughts are the soldiers. Some of them fight for you, some of them fight against you. But you are the general. You get to decide which thoughts lead and which thoughts follow. You get to decide which thoughts are obeyed and which thoughts are challenged. The moment you step into this role, the moment you take command of your mental battlefield, doubt loses its power. Fear loses its grip. Limitation loses its weight. And your true self begins to rise, unstoppable, unshakable, and ready to claim the life you were meant to live. Deciding to challenge your thoughts is not easy. It is not quick. It is not always comfortable, but it is necessary. And every person who has achieved greatness, every person who has broken through limitation, every person who has unleashed their true potential has done exactly this. They decided to challenge their thoughts, to confront their inner critic, to question every doubt, and to refuse to be ruled by fear. And the same power is available to you right now in this very moment, the moment you decide to say, I will not believe every thought I have. I will challenge my doubts. I will rise above fear. I will act. And that, my friends, is how transformation begins. That is how the silent battle is won. That is how your inner doubt is silenced. And that is how your true self is unleashed. It all starts with a decision, a conscious, deliberate, unstoppable decision to challenge your thoughts and refuse to let doubt define your life. Every single person has an inner voice, and most of the time that voice is negative. It tells you that you're not enough, that you can't do it, that you're too small, too weak, too inexperienced. It reminds you of your failures and magnifies your weaknesses. It tells you to stay in your comfort zone, to settle for mediocrity, and to avoid risk. But here's the truth. That voice does not define you. That voice is not the truth. That voice is a habit, a pattern of thought, and it can be changed. One of the most powerful steps you can take in overcoming doubt and unleashing your true self is to replace negative self-talk with empowering statements. This is not just about thinking positively. It's about intentionally rewiring your mind so that it works for you instead of against you. Negative self-talk is insidious because it often feels automatic. You don't even notice it until it has already shaped your actions. You start a project, a job, a relationship, or a goal, and the voice inside whispers, you can't do this, or you'll never be successful, or bother. You're not ready. Before you know it, your confidence shrinks, your motivation fades, and you're hesitating, procrastinating, or giving up entirely. But what if you could catch those thoughts before they take root? What if, in that exact moment, you could stop the negative narrative and replace it with words of power, strength, and possibility? That's exactly what replacing negative self-talk with empowering statements does. It changes the trajectory of your life by changing the way you speak to yourself. Empowering self-talk is deliberate. It is intentional. It is not about pretending that challenges do not exist or that life is easy. It is about speaking to yourself in a way that strengthens your mind, focuses your energy, and motivates your actions. Instead of saying, I can't, you say, I am capable. Instead of saying, I'll fail, you say, I will learn, grow, and overcome. Instead of saying, I'm too small, you say, I'm too small. You say, I am strong and I have what it takes. Every time you replace a negative thought with an empowering statement, you are literally retraining your brain. You are building a new mental pathway that reinforces possibility instead of limitation, courage instead of fear, and action instead of hesitation. The first step in replacing negative self-talk is awareness. You cannot change what you do not notice. Start by paying attention to words you speak to yourself, not just aloud, but in your mind. Notice when doubt arises, when fear shows up, when hesitation creeps in. These are the moments when you are vulnerable to negative self-talk. And these are the moments when you have the opportunity to intervene. Awareness is your first weapon. The moment you notice, there it is, the thought that says, I can't, you can immediately respond with an empowering statement. I can. I am ready. I am capable. Next, you must create a list of empowering statements that resonate with you personally. Generic statements like I am great are okay, but the most effective empowering statements are those that speak directly to your goals, your challenges, and your potential. I am capable of overcoming this obstacle. I have the skills to achieve this goal. I am learning, growing, improving every day, or I refuse to let fear control my actions. Write them down, memorize them, repeat them daily. Speak them aloud when you wake up in the morning. Speak them to yourself before a challenge. Speak them when fear threatens to paralyze you. The more you repeat them, the more they replace the old negative patterns of thought. Replacing negative self-talk also requires confrontation. You must actively confront the lies you have been telling yourself. The voice inside that says, you're not good enough, or you'll never succeed, or you don't deserve this is lying to you. You must call it out. You must say that is not true. I am capable. I am worthy. I am strong. This confrontation is not a one-time event. It is ongoing. Every day, doubt will try to creep back in. Every day, fear will attempt to whisper its lies. But every day you replace that negative self-talk with empowering statements, you reinforce your mental strength and resilience. Another important strategy is visualization. Words are powerful, but combining them with visualization makes them even stronger. When you say, I am capable, picture yourself succeeding. When you say, I can overcome this challenge, imagine yourself facing the obstacle and conquering it. When you say, I am growing every day, visualize your progress, your improvement, and the steps you have taken to advance. Visualization strengthens the connection between thought and action, making empowering statements not just words, but a mental rehearsal for success. Consistency is key. Replacing negative self-talk is not a one-time fix. is a lifelong discipline. Every day, you will encounter doubts, fears, and criticisms from yourself and from the world. But every day, you have the opportunity to choose your words carefully, to speak to yourself with encouragement, and to reinforce your own potential. The more consistently you do this, the more automatic it becomes. Soon, the empowering statements will be your default mode of thinking, and negative self-talk will lose its grip on your mind. Empowering statements also work best when they are specific and actionable. Instead of saying, I am strong, say, I have the discipline to take action and follow through today. Instead of saying, I am confident, say, I will speak up, take initiative, and trust myself in this moment. The specificity transforms abstract statements into guiding principles that shape your actions and decisions. Words alone are not enough. You must link them to tangible behaviors that move you toward your goals. It is also important to pair empowering self-talk with gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is lacking to what you already have. When you say, I am capable, and I am capable, and I'm grateful for the resources, opportunities, and support I have to succeed. Gratitude amplifies the power of your statements, making them more believable, more heartfelt, and more motivating. When you combine empowerment and gratitude, you create a mindset that is resilient, confident, and unstoppable. Challenging the negative self-talk of others is also part of this process. Too often, the opinions, criticisms, and doubts of others reinforce our own internal negative dialogue. When someone says, you can't do that, or that's too hard for you, replace their words with empowering statements. I can. I will. I'm capable of this challenge. Do not let external negativity infiltrate your mind. Use it as fuel to reinforce your own voice of empowerment. Every time you rise above the criticism and replace it with your own words of power, you strengthen your resilience, confidence, and determination. Empowering statements are not just about motivation. They are about transformation. The words you speak to yourself shape your thoughts, your actions, and ultimately your destiny. Negative self-talk keeps you small, fearful, and stuck. Empowering self-talk lifts you up, strengthens your courage, and drives you to take action. The more you replace the negative with the positive, the more your mind becomes an ally instead of an enemy. And once your mind is working for you, there's nothing that can hold you back. Another critical element is repetition. Your mind has been listening to negative self-talk for years, sometimes decades. You cannot erase that overnight. You must intentionally, consistently, and relentlessly replace it with empowering statements. Say them in the morning, say them throughout the day, and say them before you go to sleep. Repeat them until they become a part of your identity. The repetition builds mental muscle. It rewires your brain. It changes the story you tell yourself. And eventually, empowering statements become your default mode of thinking, and negative self-talk loses its power entirely. It is also important to believe in the statements you make. Simply reciting words without conviction will have limited effect. Speak them with intention, with emotion, and with belief. Speak them as though they are already true, because the mind has a way of responding belief. The moment you truly believe in the empowering statement, your actions will align with them, your confidence will grow, your courage will expand, and your ability to overcome doubt will become unstoppable. Finally, replacing negative self-talk with empowering statement is about creating a mindset of possibility. It is about seeing opportunity where others see obstacles, growth where others see limitations, and strength where others see weakness. It is about refusing to let doubt define you, fear control you, or hesitation stop you. Every empowering statement is a declaration of your potential, your resilience, and your determination. Every time you speak words of power to yourself, you are building the foundation for the life you are meant to live. So today, I challenge you. Listen to the voice inside your head. Identify every negative, limiting, or discouraging thought. And then replace it immediately with an empowering statement. Say, I am capable. I am strong. I am resilient. I am growing. I'm unstoppable. Say it until it becomes your truth. Pair it with visualization, gratitude, and repetition. Speak it aloud, write it down, and carry it with you wherever you go. This is not a suggestion. It is a requirement if you want to silence doubt, overcome fear, and unleash your true self. Because here's the ultimate truth. Your words shape your world, The voice you speak to yourself is more powerful than any external circumstance, criticism, or obstacle. When you replace negative self-talk with empowering statements, you change the trajectory of your life. You transform your mind from a battlefield into a launch pad. You move from hesitation to action, from fear to courage, from limitation to possibility. And the person you become on the other side of this transformation is stronger, more confident, and fully capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. It all begins with the decision to replace the negative with the positive. It all begins with choosing words that empower, uplift, and motivate. It all begins with refusing to let doubt control your mind. And the more consistently you do this, the more unstoppable you become. Every thought you replace with an empowering statement is a step closer to your true self. Every statement is a declaration that you refuse to settle. Every word is a tool for transformation. So start today. Recognize the negative. Replace it with empowering statements. Repeat them. Believe them. Visualize them, act on them, and watch as your mind becomes your greatest ally. Doubt becomes powerless, and your true self is unleashed in ways you never imagined possible. One of the most overlooked but most powerful steps in overcoming inner doubt and unleashing your true self is the company you keep, the people around you, the environment you inhabit, and even the content you consume have a profound impact on your mindset, your confidence, and your ability to act. You see, humans are social creatures, and we are deeply influenced by the thoughts, attitudes, and behaviors of those we spend the most time with. If you want to challenge your inner doubt, if you want to rise above hesitation, fear, and limitation, you must surround yourself with positive influences, people, environments, and ideas that lift you, inspire you, and propel you forward. Because the truth is, your environment either nurtures your potential or diminishes it, and most people underestimate just how much their surroundings affect their ability to succeed. Let's start with the people you spend time with. Your friends, your colleagues, your family members, and your mentors all shape your thinking, whether you realize it or not. Negative influences, those who doubt you, criticize you, or focus on limitations rather than possibilities, can amplify your own inner doubt. They may not even intend to hurt you, but their words, attitudes, and habits act like a mirror reflecting fear, hesitation, insecurity back at you. And if you spend enough time with them, you begin to internalize those messages. You begin to ask yourself, maybe I really can't do this, or maybe I'm not capable enough. Surrounding yourself with positive influences is about deliberately choosing people who reflect encouragement, determination, resilience, and success. These are the people who see your potential and remind you of it, who challenge you to rise to your best self, who believe in you even when you struggle to believe in yourself. When you surround yourself with these people, their energy, perspective, and habits begin to infiltrate your own mindset, and you start to think differently, act differently, and ultimately achieve differently. Positive influences aren't just about cheerleaders or motivational figures. They're also about mentors. People who have walked the path before you and can offer guidance, advice, and perspective. Mentors help you see what is possible. They help you navigate obstacles. They help you understand that challenges are not roadblocks. They are opportunities for growth. When you spend time with mentors, you are exposed to a mindset of possibility, problem solving, and persistence. You absorb their confidence, their experience, and their resilience. This influence is subtle but powerful. Over time, it rewires your mind to focus on solutions instead of problems, action instead of hesitation, and potential instead of limitation. Your environment, the places you inhabit daily, also plays a critical role in shaping your thoughts. Think about it. If you are constantly in spaces filled with negativity, disorder, or stagnation, it is hard to feel motivated, focused, or empowered. Your surroundings influence your mental state, your energy levels, and your ability to think clearly. On the other hand, positive environments, clean, organized, inspiring spaces filled with reminders of your goals and aspirations help you stay focused, confident, and energized. Positive influences extend beyond just people. They include the physical spaces you occupy, the books you read, the music you listen to, the podcasts you follow, and even the digital content you consume. Every exposure shapes your mindset. Surrounding yourself with positive influences means curating every aspect of your life to reinforce, confidence, and belief in your potential. Another aspect of positive influence comes from the media you consume. Every article you read, every video you watch, every conversation you participate in leaves an imprint on your mind. If you constantly consume content that is negative, fear-driven, or discouraging, it reinforces doubt, hesitation, and limitation. But when you intentionally seek out motivational content, stories of resilience, educational material, and insights from people who have succeeded despite challenges, you begin to reshape your inner narrative. You begin to see what is possible even in the face of difficulty. You begin to believe in your own capacity to overcome, adapt, and thrive. The right content as a mentor, an advisor, and a source of encouragement every single day. Positive influences also challenge you to grow. They are not there to coddle you or simply tell you what you want to hear. The most effective positive influences push you beyond your comfort zone. They hold you accountable. They demand that you act with integrity, courage, and determination. They refuse to let you settle for mediocrity. They remind you of your potential when you forget. Being around people who challenge you, who push you to do more, think bigger, and aim higher is essential for silencing inner doubt. Doubt thrives in complacency, in hesitation, and in low expectation. Positive influences create pressure, not negative pressure, but the kind of pressure that inspires action, growth, and achievement. It is also important to recognize that surrounding yourself with positive influences is a proactive choice. Doesn't happen by accident. You must intentionally evaluate your relationships, your environment, and your content. Ask yourself, who lifts me up and who tears me down? Who inspires me and who drains me? What spaces energize me and which ones make me feel stuck? What information nourishes my mind and what content keeps me fearful or hesitant? The answers to these questions are crucial because inner doubt is often a reflection of the negative influences you allow into your life. To silence doubt, you must deliberately cultivate a network, environment, and media ecosystem that reinforces your strength, courage, and potential. Positive influences also create accountability, which is a powerful antidote to inner doubt. When you are surrounded by people who believe in your goals, who check in on your progress, and who hold you responsible for your actions, it is harder for doubt to take hold. You start to see yourself through the eyes of those who support you, and that reflection is empowering. Accountability keeps you moving when fear whispers, you can't do this or you'll never make it. Positive influences remind you, yes, you can. Keep going, you've got this. And over time, these reminders build resilience, confidence, and momentum. Another key point is the influence of habit. The people around you, the environments you occupy, and the content you consume all shape your habits. And habits are powerful. They determine your daily action, your energy, and your long-term results. When you are surrounded by positive influences, you are more likely to adopt productive habits, positive thinking patterns, and consistent action. When you are surrounded by negative influences, doubt becomes your default response, procrastination becomes a habit, and fear dominates your decisions. Surrounding yourself with positivity isn't just about motivation. It's about creating an ecosystem that consistently produces the behaviors, mindset, and results you want. It's also important to acknowledge that surrounding yourself with positive influences sometimes means making hard choices. It may require distancing yourself from people who are negative, toxic, or unsupportive. It may mean leaving environments that limit your growth or consuming less media that fosters fear or hesitation. These choices are not easy because they involve discomfort, confrontation, and sometimes loss. But if you are serious about overcoming inner doubt and unleashing your true self, these choices are necessary. The energy, mindset, and guidance you surround yourself with directly influence what you believe is possible and what you actually achieve. Surrounding yourself with positive influences also helps you maintain focus on your goals. When doubt creeps in, it is easy to get distracted by negativity, criticism, or fear. But when your environment and your relationships are aligned with your aspiration, you are constantly reminded of what you are capable of. You see examples of perseverance, resilience, and success around you. You hear voices that reinforce possibility rather than limitation. And this constant reinforcement is what keeps you moving forward when doubt tries to slow you down. Another powerful aspect of positive influence is inspiration. When you are around people who are striving for greatness, who are overcoming obstacles, who are committed to growth, you can't help but be inspired. Their energy, commitment, and mindset ignites something inside you. Inspiration is contagious and it fuels action. When doubt says we can't do this, the example of others who are succeeding despite similar challenges reminds you that you can. Inspiration becomes a tangible, everyday reinforcement that you are capable of more than you've imagined. Finally, surrounding yourself with positive influences creates a feedback loop. Positive people, environments, and content not only inspire and motivate you, but they also help you internalize empowering beliefs, develop resilience, and strengthen your confidence. The more you engage with positive influences, the stronger your mindset becomes. The stronger your mindset, the less power doubt has over you. The less power doubt has, the more action you take. And the more action you take, the more results you produce, which reinforces your belief in yourself. This feedback loop is the foundation for overcoming inner doubt and unleashing your true self. So today, I challenge you. Examine the influences in your life. Identify the people who lift you up and the people who hold you back. Evaluate the environments you spend time in, the content you consume, and the conversations you engage in. Make intentional choices to surround yourself with positivity, inspiration, and accountability. Seek out mentors, friends, colleagues, and communities that challenge you to grow, believe in your potential, push you to act. Curate your environment and your media consumption so that your mind is constantly reinforced with possibility, courage, and strength. Because here's the ultimate truth. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, the environments you inhabit, and the thoughts you feed your mind. Doubt thrives in isolation, negativity, and fear. Confidence, courage, and success thrive in positivity, support, and inspiration. When you surround yourself with positive influences, doubt loses its grip, hesitation fades, and your true self begins to emerge. The people you choose, the spaces you occupy, and the content you consume are not just passive elements of your life. They are active shapers of your thoughts, your actions, and your destiny. Surrounding yourself with positive influences is not optional if you want to unleash your true self. It is a deliberate, intentional, and powerful strategy for overcoming doubt. It shapes your mindset, your habits, your energy, and your results. It keeps you focused, motivated, and inspired. It challenges you to grow and hold yourself accountable. And most importantly, it reminds you every single day that you are capable, that you are strong, and that you have what it takes to rise above doubt and step fully into your potential. Fear is a universal experience. Every single person, regardless of age, background, or achievement, encounters fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown, fear of inadequacy. Fear can be paralyzing, whispering to you in quiet moments, "You're not ready. You can't do this. Tuck your veil if you try." And here's the harsh truth. Most people let fear stop them. They listen to it. They obey it. They let it dictate their choices, their actions, and ultimately the life they live. But the people who overcome doubt, the people who unleash their true potential, they don't eliminate fear. They act despite it. They take consistent action, even when their heart races, even when doubt whispers, even when the path forward seems unclear. Taking consistent action despite fear is the ultimate tool for silencing doubt, building confidence, and transforming your life. Fear is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you are stepping into growth. Every time you face a new challenge, pursue a goal, or push beyond your comfort zone, fear will arise. Your brain is wired to protect you from danger, and it often interprets unfamiliar or difficult tasks as threats. This is why fear feels so real. But fear is not your enemy. It is a signal that you are on the path to something meaningful. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not the absence of fear. It's the willingness to act despite fear. Consistent action is the antidote to doubt because every step forward weakens fear's grip and strengthens your confidence. The first key to taking consistent action despite fear is to acknowledge it. Most people make the mistake of pretending fear doesn't exist. They try to push it aside, ignore it, or convince themselves that if they just think positively, fear will vanish. But this approach doesn't work. Fear is real, and ignoring it only gives it more power. Instead, face it. Recognize it. Say to yourself, I'm afraid, I'm nervous, I feel uncertain. Acknowledging fear strips it of its hidden power. Once you recognize it, you can make a conscious choice to move forward anyway. Action becomes an intentional response to fear, not a reaction controlled by it. Consistency is the second critical element. One brave action is not enough to silence fear permanently. Fear is persistent, it will return, and it will continue to challenge you at every step. That's why action must be consistent. You must take steps, big or small, every single day toward your goal. Even when fear tells you to stop, even when doubt tries to convince you that you're not capable, even when obstacles appear insurmountable, you must act. Every step taken despite fear builds momentum, builds courage, and reinforces the belief that you are capable. Momentum is a powerful weapon against doubt because once you start moving, fear has less influence over your choices. Taking action despite fear also requires discipline. Courage is not a one-time event, it is a habit. Most people mistake courage for a feeling. They wait to feel brave before acting. But courage is not a feeling. It is a decision. It is a commitment to act regardless of how you feel. Discipline is what allows you to make that commitment day after day. Discipline keeps you moving when motivation wanes, when obstacles appear, or when doubt whispers in your ear. Consistent disciplined action is what separates those who achieve their dreams from those who only wish they could. Another essential aspect is to start small. Fear often feels overwhelming because we look at the entire journey and feel inadequate to tackle it. But the secret is to break it down. Take one step today, another tomorrow, and another the next day. Each small action compounds into progress, and each success, no matter how small, builds confidence. Consistent action doesn't mean perfection or massive leaps every time. It means persistent movement towards your goal, no matter how incremental. The key is to start and to continue, because the act of moving forward, even slightly, silences doubt more than any pep talk ever could. Preparation is also crucial in taking action despite fear. Fear often arises from uncertainty. When you feel unprepared, your mind exaggerates risk, making fear louder and more convincing. Taking time to prepare, study, practice, and plan doesn't eliminate fear, but it reduces it, giving you confidence to act. When you know your material, understand your goals, and have a strategy, fear loses its power. You act with purpose rather than hesitation, and each action reinforces your capability. Preparation and action work hand in hand to weaken doubt and strengthen resolve. Taking action despite fear also requires a shift in perspective. Instead of seeing fear as a stop sign, see it as a compass pointing you toward growth. Fear is often strongest when you are on the edge of something significant, an opportunity, a challenge, or a dream. The intensity of fear signals that what lies ahead matters. If you let fear stop you, you will never experience the growth, success, and transformation waiting for you on the other side. Shift your perspective. View fear as a guide, not a gatekeeper. Let it indicate where action is most needed, and then move forward with courage. Another critical factor is resilience. Acting despite fear does not guarantee immediate success. You will face setbacks, failures, and mistakes. Fear may return and doubt may resurface. But each time you act despite fear, you build resilience, the ability to recover, adapt, and keep moving forward. Resilience is what allows you to sustain consistent action over the long term. It is what enables you to persist when results are slow, challenges are many, and the journey feels impossible. The more you practice acting despite fear, the stronger your resilience becomes and the less power fear has over you. Accountability is another tool for taking consistent action. When you share your goals and commitments with others, mentors, friends, colleagues, you create external pressure to act even when fear arises. Accountability strengthens your commitment, reinforces your courage, and reduces the likelihood of succumbing to hesitation. Positive influence, accountability partners, and supportive communities help you maintain consistent action because they remind you of your potential, your purpose, and the importance of showing up even when fear tries to hold you back. Visualization and affirmations also play a role. Seeing yourself succeed in your mind's eye and speaking empowering statements allow prime your brain for action. When fear arises, visualization and affirmations act as a mental rehearsal, preparing you to act with confidence, saying, I am capable, or I will take action despite fear, reinforces the mindset needed to act. Visualization helps you imagine the positive outcome, reduces the power of negative scenario, and strengthens the belief that you can overcome obstacles. The combination of visualization, affirmations, and consistent action creates unstoppable momentum. Embracing failure as part of the process is essential. Fear often prevents action because we are terrified of failing. But failure is not a verdict, it is feedback. Every action you take, even if it does not succeed immediately, teaches you something valuable. It provides insight, experience, and growth. Each failure you confront builds courage for the next step. Those who achieve greatness understand this. They take action despite fear, learn from failure, and persist. Fear loses its grip when you redefine failure as a necessary part of progress. Action also silences self-doubt. Doubt thrives in inaction. The longer you wait, the louder doubt becomes. But the moment you take a step, doubt loses credibility. Action is proof. It is evidence that you are capable, that you are willing, and that you can overcome fear. Each consistent step you take against fear diminishes doubt, strengthens your confidence, and creates momentum that propels you toward your goals. Action, no matter how small, is the ultimate antidote to inner doubt. Consistency also compounds over time. Fear may never disappear entirely, but consistent action trains your mind, builds habits, and strengthens your courage. The first step is always the hardest, but each subsequent step becomes easier because you have proven to yourself that you are capable. The momentum builds, your confidence grows, and fear becomes less intimidating. Over time, consistent action transforms not only your external circumstances, but also your internal mindset, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of courage, persistence, and achievement. It is important to act even when you are not ready. Many people wait for the perfect moment, for the perfect conditions, or for the perfect confidence. But perfection is an illusion, and waiting only allows fear to grow. Action breeds readiness. Action creates clarity. Action strengthens skill. Waiting for readiness is a trap. The courageous act before fear dissipates, before certainty arrives, and before comfort sets in. By acting consistently despite fear, you develop the competence, confidence, and resilience needed to succeed. Finally, taking action despite fear is about commitment to your purpose. When your goals, dreams, and vision for your life are strong enough, fear becomes secondary. Purpose gives you the courage to act even when it's difficult, even when you feel vulnerable, and even when doubt tries to dominate. The more connected you are to your purpose, the more consistent your action will be. Purpose transforms fear into fuel and doubt into motivation. It drives you forward, step by step, day by day, until your goals are no longer distant. They are reality. So today I challenge you, recognize fear. Accept it, acknowledge it, and confront it. Take action anyway. Start small, but start. Be consistent, disciplined, and relentless. Prepare, visualize, affirm, and act. Embrace failure as feedback. Seek accountability, support, and positive influence. Connect deeply with your purpose. And remember, action is the antidote to doubt. The more consistently you act despite fear, the stronger you become and the closer you move to unleashing your true self. Because here's the truth, fear is inevitable. Doubt is inevitable. Challenges will arise. Obstacles will appear and uncertainty will always exist. But consistent action is the choice that separates dreamers from achievers, hesitation from momentum, and limitation from greatness. Take action. Not because fear is absent, but because you are committed to your potential, to your goals, and to the life you are meant to live. The silent battle is one step at a time, one act of courage at a time, and one consistent action despite fear at a time. When we talk about achieving greatness, most people immediately think about the big milestone, the promotions, the awards, the recognition, the achievements that make the world take notice. But here's the thing, greatness is not built in a single moment. It's built one step at a time, one effort at a time, one decision at a time. And that is why celebrating small wins is one of the most powerful strategies for overcoming inner doubt and unleashing your true self Too many people ignore the small victories thinking they are insignificant, They wait for the big win to validate their efforts, and in doing so, they miss the most important part of the journey, the momentum that comes from consistent progress. Celebrating small wins is not about arrogance or self-congratulation. It is about acknowledgement, reinforcement, and energy. It is about creating a cycle where progress fuels confidence, confidence fuels action, and action fuels even more progress. Small wins are powerful because they are tangible proof that you are moving forward. Doubt thrives in uncertainty and inaction, and in the illusion that progress is slow or non-existent. But small wins serve as concrete evidence that your efforts are working, that your choices matter, and that your potential is real. Every time you complete a task, take a step toward your goal, or overcome a minor challenge, you are proving to yourself that you are capable. These victories, however small, chip away at doubt and reinforce beliefs. Celebrating them is not optional. It is essential if you want to maintain momentum and continue moving forward. The act of celebrating small wins also reinforces positive behavior. Psychology tells us that human beings are motivated by reinforcement. When you acknowledge and reward progress, your brain releases chemicals that make you feel good, dopamine, serotonin, and other neurotransmitters that signal achievement. This chemical response motivates you to continue acting, to continue striving, and to continue taking steps toward. Celebration is a feedback mechanism. It tells your mind, yes, you are capable. Yes, your actions matter. Keep going. Without this reinforcement, it is easy to lose focus, become discouraged, or fall back into doubt and hesitation. Celebrating small wins is not about vanity. It's about acknowledgement. Acknowledgement of your effort, your persistence, and your commitment. Too often, people discount the importance of small achievements. They see a minor accomplishment and think, this isn't enough. It doesn't matter. But that mindset is dangerous. It reinforces the idea that only monumental achievements have value and that any step forward is meaningless. In reality, small wins are the building blocks of success. Each one is a foundation upon which greater accomplishments are constructed. By acknowledging and celebrating these wins, you are reinforcing your commitment and strengthening your confidence. One key aspect of celebrating small wins is mindfulness. You must pay attention to your progress, no matter how incremental it seems. Life moves fast, and it is easy to overlook the small victories along the way. Take time each day or each week to reflect on what you have accomplished. Did you complete a task you had been avoiding? Did you push yourself beyond your comfort zone? Did you overcome a fear or a moment of doubt? These are all small wins, and recognizing them is crucial. Mindfulness allows you to see the progress you are making, even when the ultimate goal feels distant. Another important factor is gratitude. Celebrating small wins is more powerful when you pair it with gratitude. Take a moment to be thankful for the effort you put in, the resources you had, and the opportunity you seized. Gratitude transforms small wins from mere tasks into meaningful achievement. It shifts your mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance, from frustration to appreciation, and from doubt to confidence. When you combine acknowledgement with gratitude, you create a mindset that is resilient, motivated, and unstoppable. Celebrating small wins also strengthens self-belief. Inner doubt often arises because we underestimate our capabilities. We focus on what we haven't done yet, what we haven't achieved, and what we fear we might never accomplish. But small wins counteract this narrative. They provide evidence that you are capable, that your actions have impact, and that you are making progress. Each small win is a building block of self-belief, and the more you celebrate them, the stronger your belief in yourself becomes. This belief is essential for taking on larger challenges, facing fear, and pushing beyond limitation. Momentum is another key reason to celebrate small wins. Progress, no matter how small, creates motion. Motion creates momentum, and momentum makes action easier. The longer you stay in motion, the more energy you generate and the less power doubt has over you. When you celebrate small wins, you reinforce that motion. You are telling yourself, I am capable. I am making progress. I am moving forward. This energy becomes contagious, influencing every decision, every action, and every effort you make. Momentum is the engine that drives achievement. and small wins are the fuel. Celebration does not always require grand gestures. Sometimes it is as simple as a moment of reflection, a note to yourself, or a quiet acknowledgement of progress. Other times it may involve sharing your win with a mentor, a friend, or a colleague who supports you. The key is that you take the time to recognize the achievement and allow it to reinforce your confidence and motivation. Celebration is a mindset, not a performance. It is about internal reinforcement as much as external recognition. Consistency is critical. Small wins are only powerful if they are recognized regularly. If you wait until the big milestone to celebrate, you miss out on the reinforcement that keeps you moving. Daily, weekly, and even monthly acknowledgement of progress creates a rhythm, a pattern that strengthens your resilience and determination. The habit of celebrating small wins conditions your mind to see progress everywhere, to value effort as much as outcome, and to remain motivated even when the ultimate goal seems distant. Another benefit of celebrating small wins is that it creates a culture of positivity. When you acknowledge progress, it not only reinforces your own mindset, but also influences those around you. People are inspired by perseverance, by effort, and by commitment. Celebrating small wins can motivate your team, your peers, or even your family. It shows that growth is a process, that effort matters, and that every step forward is worth recognition. Positivity is contagious, and small celebrations create an environment that nurtures progress and silences doubt collectively. Celebrating small wins also helps prevent burnout. Long journeys towards significant goals can be exhausting. Doubt, fear, and fatigue can sap motivation. By recognizing and celebrating the smaller victories along the way, you create pockets of energy and joy that sustain you through the long haul. Each acknowledgement serves as a reminder of why you started, how far you've come, and what you are capable of achieving. This reinforcement replenishes your mental and emotional energy, keeping you engaged, focused, and committed. Small wins also teach patience and discipline. Inner doubt often arises from the desire for instant results. We live in a culture of instant gratification, where the expectation is that success should be immediate. But true growth, transformation, and mastery are gradual. Celebrating small wins teaches you to value the journey, to appreciate incremental progress, and to trust the process. It reinforces the principle that consistent effort over time produces extraordinary results. Each small win is a testament to your discipline and your commitment to long-term success. It is also important to connect small wins to your bigger vision. Each small achievement is a stepping stone toward your ultimate goal. When you celebrate a minor accomplishment, remind yourself how it contributes to your larger mission. Connection strengthens motivation, clarifies purpose, and reinforces the relevance of every effort. By linking small wins to the bigger picture, you transform everyday actions into meaningful progress and keep doubt at bay by focusing on results rather than setbacks. Another critical point is self-compassion. Sometimes doubt persists despite progress, and fear can creep in even when you are moving forward. Celebrating small wins reinforces self-compassion because it acknowledges your effort and perseverance, not just the outcome. It reminds you that progress, even if slow, is still progress. It allows you to recognize your commitment and courage, even in moments of struggle. This self-compassion strengthens resilience, allowing you to continue acting despite doubt and fear. Finally, celebrating small wins is about mindset transformation. It trains your brain to focus on what is working rather than what is missing. It shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance, from frustration to appreciation, and from hesitation to confidence. It creates a positive feedback loop where acknowledgement fuels belief, belief fuels action, and action fuels even more progress. Over time, this mindset transformation silences inner doubt, builds momentum, and empowers you to step fully into your true potential. So today, I challenge you. Take stock of your journey. Identify the small wins you have achieved, every completed task, every step forward, every challenge overcome. Celebrate them, acknowledge them, be grateful for them. Let them fuel your confidence, motivation, and momentum. Recognize that each small win is proof that you are capable, that your efforts matter, and that you are moving toward your ultimate goals. Build this habit daily, weekly, and monthly. Make celebration part of your process, because here's the truth. Greatness is not a single leap. It is built on small victories accumulated over time. Each step forward strengthens your belief, builds momentum, and silences doubt. Each small win creates energy, inspiration, and courage for the next challenge. When you learn to celebrate the small victories, you transform the journey itself into a powerful force that propels you toward your true self. Inner doubt may still arise, fear may still whisper, and obstacles may still appear. But the momentum you build from celebrating small wins will keep you moving, keep you growing, and keep you achieving. This is how success is won, step by step, moment by moment, win by win. One of the greatest battles you will ever face is the battle to fully embrace who you are. To step into your own skin, to acknowledge your strengths, weaknesses, quirks, and passions, and to move through life unapologetically as yourself. So many people struggle with doubt, not because they lack skill or talent, but because they are trying to be someone they are not. They are imitating others, conforming to expectations, or hiding parts of themselves out of fear of judgment. This inner conflict creates hesitation, insecurity, and doubt. But when you embrace your authenticity, when you own your truth and step into your life fully as yourself, a remarkable thing happens. Doubt loses its grip, confidence flourishes, and your true potential is unleashed. Authenticity begins with self-awareness. You must take the time to know yourself deeply, your values, your passions, your strengths, your weaknesses, and your unique perspective. Most people go through life trying to fit into molds created by society, family, or peer, without pausing to understand what makes them unique. They compare themselves to others and feel inadequate because they are not a perfect reflection of someone else's success. Self-awareness is the foundation of authenticity because it allows you to recognize that you are enough just as you are. It gives you clarity about your path and empowers you to move forward without trying to imitate others. Embracing authenticity also requires courage. It is not easy to be yourself in a world that constantly pressures you to conform. Fear of rejection, fear of criticism, and fear of failure can push you to hide your true self. But courage is not the absence of fear. It is acting in spite of it. To embrace your authenticity, you must be willing to stand in your truth even when it is uncomfortable, even when it is unpopular, and even when it challenges the expectations of others. Courage allows you to silence the inner critic that tells you to shrink, blend in, or pretend to be someone you are not. Authenticity is about alignment, aligning your actions, decisions, and goals with your true values and passion. When your life reflects who you genuinely are, your confidence increases and doubt begins to fade. Living inauthentically creates tension, dissatisfaction, and hesitation. You may achieve certain goals, but they will feel hollow if they are not aligned with your true self. On the other hand, when your actions are in harmony with your values, your motivation deepens, your energy multiplies, and your resilience strengthens. Authenticity creates a life where fear and doubt have less influence because your purpose is clear and your direction is grounded in who you truly are. Another essential aspect of embracing authenticity is owning your story. Every person has a history, experiences, challenges, and mistakes that shape who they are. Too often, people feel shame or regret about their past, believing it makes them less worthy or less capable. But authenticity means recognizing that your story, every struggle, triumph, failure, and lesson is uniquely yours and has value. Your experiences are part of what makes you capable of contributing to the world in ways no one else can. By owning your story, you turn what may feel like weakness or limitation into strength, insight, and perspective. Authenticity also requires vulnerability. Being authentic means being willing to show your true self, even when it is imperfect or unpolished. It means being honest about your fears, doubts, struggles, and not pretending to have everything figured out. Vulnerability is not a weakness. It is a strength. When you embrace vulnerability, you create deeper connections with others. You inspire trust, and you allow yourself to learn and grow. Vulnerability is a key element in silencing inner doubt because it removes the pretense that you must be perfect to succeed. It allows you to take action, make mistakes, and keep moving forward without being paralyzed by fear. Self-expression is another critical component of authenticity. Embrace your voice, your ideas, and your unique perspective. Do not allow the fear of judgment to silence you. Too many people hold back their contribution, believing that their thoughts, creativity, or insights are not good enough. But the world does not need another imitation. It needs your originality, your perspective, and your unique approach. When you express yourself authentically, you gain confidence, strengthen your voice, and inspire others to do the same. Expression reinforces self-belief and diminishes doubt because you are living in alignment with who you truly are. Embracing authenticity also involves self-compassion. Being true to yourself does not mean you will always succeed or that you will never make mistakes. In fact, mistakes are an inevitable part of living authentically. Self-compassion allows you to forgive yourself, learn from your experiences, and continue moving forward without harsh self-judgment. When doubt arises, self-compassion acts as a shield, reminding you that you are growing, learning, and improving. It reinforces the understanding that your worth is not determined by perfection or comparison, but by your willingness to show up as yourself. Another crucial aspect of embracing authenticity is resisting external validation. Much of the doubt we experience comes from relying on the approval of others. We question our worth because we have been conditioned to measure ourselves against other people's standards, expectations, or opinions. Authenticity requires breaking free from this pattern. It requires trusting your own judgment, valuing your own perspective, and being willing to walk your path even when others do not understand it. When you seek validation internally rather than externally, you become empowered, confident, and less susceptible to doubt. Authenticity also cultivates resilience. When you operate from a place of truth, your decisions, actions, and goals are grounded in something that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. Challenges, setbacks, and criticism still happen. But when your foundation is your authentic self, you recover faster, adapt more effectively, and stay committed to your path. Resilience grows because authenticity gives you a sense of stability and purpose. It provides a lens through which doubt loses its power because you are anchored in who you are, not in the fluctuating opinions of the world. Authenticity fosters deeper relationships. When you embrace your true self, you attract people who resonate with your values, appreciate your uniqueness, and support your growth. You no longer waste energy trying to fit into the expectations of those who do not align with you. Instead, you create meaningful connections with people who inspire, challenge, and encourage you. These relationships reinforce your authenticity, diminish doubt, and create a network of support that fuels your personal and professional growth. Embracing authenticity requires reflection and intentionality. You must consistently evaluate your actions, choices, and goals to ensure they align with who you truly are. It requires asking yourself tough questions. Am I pursuing this because it is what I want or because it is what others expect? Am I acting from fear or from conviction? Am I hiding parts of myself to fit in, or am I showing up fully as who I am? Reflection creates clarity, and clarity strengthens authenticity. Without intentional reflection, it is easy to drift, conform, and allow doubt to creep in. Authenticity also encourages innovation and creativity. When you are not bound by conformity, you are free to experiment, take risks, and explore new ideas. Many of the world's greatest innovations, breakthroughs, and achievements come from people who dare to embrace their uniqueness and act from their authentic selves. By being true to yourself, you open the door to creativity that cannot exist in imitation or conformity. Authenticity frees you to innovate, solve problems, and contribute to the world in a way only you can. Another essential point is that embracing authenticity is a lifelong journey. It is not a one-time decision or a destination. It is a continuous practice. Life constantly challenges you to adapt, evolve, and grow. And at every stage, there is the temptation to hide, conform, or doubt yourself. Embracing authenticity requires ongoing commitment, courage, and self-awareness. Each day is an opportunity to show up fully, to act in alignment with your values, and to silence doubt through consistent, authentic action. Embracing authenticity transforms doubt into confidence. Doubt thrives when there is conflict, misalignment, and self-rejection. When you fully accept and express who you are, doubt loses its credibility. You no longer question your worth or capability because your actions are grounded in truth. Confidence emerges naturally because you are no longer living a life dictated by fear, expectations, or comparison. You are living a life dictated by your own values, vision, and purpose. Finally, embracing authenticity is the key to unleashing your true potential. All of the talents, gifts, and abilities you possess can only be fully realized when you operate from a place of authenticity. When you hide, conform, or imitate, your potential is limited. When you embrace yourself fully, you unlock the energy, creativity, courage, and determination needed to achieve extraordinary results. Authenticity silences doubt, empowers action, and creates a life where your true self is visible, vibrant, and unstoppable. So today I challenge you, stop pretending, stop hiding, stop conforming. Take the time to know yourself deeply. Acknowledge your strengths, embrace your weaknesses, and honor your unique perspective. Own your story, express your voice, and live in alignment with your values. Trust yourself, practice self-compassion, and resist the need for external validation. Stand in your truth, act courageously, and embrace the journey of authenticity every single day. The world does not need another imitation. It needs your genuine, unapologetic, authentic self. Because here's the ultimate truth. Inner doubt only thrives in the shadows of fear, comparison, and concealment. Authenticity illuminates the path forward, silences doubt, and empowers you to act, create, and achieve. When you embrace who you truly are, when you step fully into your life without apology, doubt loses its power and your potential is unleashed. Your authentic self is your greatest asset, your most powerful tool, and your key to living a life of purpose, courage, and fulfillment. Embrace it and watch yourself rise. As we come to the close of this journey together, I want you to understand one undeniable truth. The battle we fight is not with the world, it is within ourselves. The silent war that rages in the depths of your mind, the doubts, the fears, the insecurities, the most powerful that you would ever face. But here's the reality that many people never realize. This battle is winnable. You have the tools, the power, and the capacity to overcome every whisper of doubt that tries to convince you that you are less than capable, less than worthy, or less than deserving of the life you dream of. This is your moment to rise, to take ownership of your inner voice, and to make a commitment to yourself that you will no longer allow fear, hesitation, or uncertainty to dictate your path. The first step in conquering this battle is awareness. You cannot fight what you do not acknowledge. Inner doubt often operates quietly, creeping into your thoughts, shaping your decisions, and influencing your behavior without you even realizing it. But the moment you name it, the moment you shine a light on it, it loses power. Recognize when doubt enters your mind. Observe it, but do not let it control you. Understand that doubt is not a reflection of your ability. It is simply a challenge, a signal that you are moving beyond comfort, that you are stepping into growth. Every great achievement, every milestone, every story of success begins with someone acknowledging the inner voices of fear and choosing to act anyway. You must also understand that fear is inevitable. Fear is not a sign that you are weak. Fear is a sign that you are alive, that you are striving, that you are reaching for something greater than the ordinary. The key is not to wait until fear disappears. It is to take consistent action despite it. Every step you take in the face of fear is a victory, a declaration that you are in control of your life and that no internal obstacle can stop your progress. Action is the antidote to doubt, and momentum is born from the courage to move forward, even when every fiber of your being is telling you to retreat. Consistency, discipline, and commitment are your allies. Doubt thrives in moments of inaction and hesitation, in the spaces where opportunity and potential are left untouched. To silence it, you must commit to showing up, to taking deliberate steps toward your goals, and to persisting even when the journey feels long and the obstacles seem insurmountable. Progress is not built in a single heroic act. It is built in the daily decisions, in the repeated efforts, in the small victories that accumulate over time. Every time you choose to act despite uncertainty, you are strengthening your capacity, your confidence, and your ability to trust yourself. Equally important is the practice of celebrating your wins, no matter how small they may seem. Far too many people discount the significance of incremental progress. They look only for monumental achievements, forgetting that each small victory is a brick in the foundation of success. Recognizing your wins reinforces the belief that you are capable, that your actions matter, and that every step forward is meaningful. Gratitude and acknowledgement of progress are not acts of vanity. They are acts of empowerment. They create momentum, fuel motivation, and build the resilience you need to face the next challenge. Every small win silences a little bit of doubt. It reminds you that you are moving in the right direction. Another essential part of this journey is embracing authenticity. There's nothing more powerful than the courage to be yourself fully, unapologetically, and without pretense. So many people struggle with inner doubt because they are trying to live someone else's life, follow someone else's rules, or conform to someone else's expectations. This misalignment creates tension, frustration, and hesitation. When you embrace your authenticity, you reclaim your power. You honor your strengths, your weaknesses, your passions, and your unique perspective. You stop waiting for permission to succeed, and you stop seeking validation from sources outside yourself. Authenticity allows you to move confidently through the world, to act with purpose, and to trust that your path, though unique, is exactly the path you were meant to walk. Understand that failure is not the enemy. In fact, it is a teacher. Doubt often convinces us that failure is the end of the road, that a mistake defines our worth, and that missteps disqualify us from achieving our dreams. But every failure is a lesson, an opportunity to adjust, and a step closer to mastery. When you take action, when you pursue your goals despite fear and uncertainty, you will encounter setbacks. And that's not only expected, it is necessary. Failure builds resilience, teaches patience, and provides clarity. It is the process through which greatness is forged. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is not that one avoids failure, but that one learns from it, persists through it, and refuses to let it define them. Connection, accountability, and support are also critical components of overcoming inner doubt. No one achieves greatness alone. Surround yourself with people who believe in your potential, who challenge you, and who hold you accountable to your commitments. These relationships amplify your courage, reinforce your confidence, and help you see the strength you possess even when you question yourself. Positive influence is a force multiplier. It reminds you of who you are, reminds you of what is possible, and gives you the courage to continue even when the internal battle is intense. You are not meant to fight this alone. Seek out mentors, friends, and communities that lift you, guide you, and inspire you to rise. Equally vital is the practice of reflection and self-awareness. Take the time to evaluate your progress, your choices, and your growth. Reflection allows you to see how far you have come, to recognize patterns of doubt, and to adjust your course intentionally. Without reflection, doubt can accumulate unnoticed, feeding on uncertainty and fear. With reflection, every action becomes purposeful, every decision informed, and every challenge an opportunity for growth. Reflection strengthens insight, reinforces clarity, and empowers you to move forward with confidence, knowing that each step is intentional and meaningful. Another powerful tool in this journey is visualization. See yourself succeeding. Imagine the life you desire. Feel the emotions of achievement, confidence, and fulfillment as if they are already yours. Visualization trains your mind to anticipate success, strengthens your belief in your abilities, and diminishes the influence of doubt. Combine this with affirmations and intentional self-talk. Speak to yourself with encouragement, conviction, and certainty. Tell yourself, I am capable. I'm worthy. Oh, Kapajaba, I will act. I will persist. The combination of visualization, positive reinforcement, and consistent action creates an unstoppable cycle of growth, confidence, and achievement. Now let's be clear. The path will not always be easy. Doubt will try to return. Fear will resurface. Obstacles will appear, and the world may challenge your efforts at every turn. But remember this, every step you take despite fear, every moment you act despite doubt, every choice you make in alignment with your authenticity is a victory. These victories accumulate. They build momentum. They construct the foundation upon which your dreams, goals, and true potential are realized. The silent battle is relentless, but so are you. Your persistence, your courage, and your commitment are stronger than any inner whisper of doubt. The ultimate key is to act. Knowledge without action is useless. Motivation without execution is wasted. Dreams without implementation remain fantasies. You must take what you have learned, what you have reflected on, and what you have acknowledged about yourself, and you must move forward. Every day is an opportunity to advance, to challenge doubt, and to live more fully as your authentic self. Do not wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect conditions. Start now. Start today. Begin with small, deliberate actions and build from there. Action transforms potential into reality and silences doubt more effectively than any words ever could. Remember that patience is essential. Growth, transformation, and mastery do not happen overnight. The process is gradual and incremental, and sometimes arduous. Celebrate every step, every small victory, and every lesson learned along the way. Each of these moments is evidence of progress, proof that you are moving forward, and validation that you are capable. Momentum builds slowly but consistently, and once established, it becomes unstoppable. Your consistency, determination, and courage compound, eventually propelling you beyond the limits of doubt and into the realm of possibility. Ultimately, the journey is yours to own. You are the architect of your life, the driver of your destiny, and the commander of your inner voice. Doubt may try to challenge you, but it cannot dictate your choices unless you allow it to. Fear may whisper, but it cannot stop you unless you surrender. You have the power to choose your thoughts, to choose your actions, and to choose the story you will tell about your life. You have the ability to rise above hesitation, silence self-doubt, and unleash the full potential of your true self. This is your opportunity. This is your moment. Step into it. So as we conclude, take this message with you. The silent battle is real, but so is your strength. Doubt is a constant companion, but it is not invincible. Fear is inevitable, but it is not undefeatable. You have within you the courage, the resilience, the authenticity, and the discipline to act, to persist, and to rise above. Celebrate your wins, embrace your authentic self, take consistent action, and trust the process. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a declaration that you will not be held back by fear, hesitation, or self-doubt. The life you dream of is waiting. The potential you long to unleash is within reach. The person you are meant to become is standing on the other side of courage, action, and belief in yourself. Commit to the journey, embrace the process, and fight the silent battle with every ounce of your being. The world is waiting for your authentic contribution, your unique perspective, and your unwavering action. You are capable, you are worthy, and you are ready. Rise, persist. The silent battle is yours to win. And the victory is not only possible, it's inevitable when you refuse to let doubt define you and when you choose to unleash your true self.